Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Thank y'all for staying with us. It's time 7:43 right now. We appreciate everybody that's still with us. Thank you to everybody that's listening to us on TuneIn, everybody that's listening to us on our replays on YouTube. Ain't no half step with Marcus J. If you want to be down with us, call us at 804-402-2893. That is the live number to be down with us tonight. What I want to do, I'm sorry, what was that? Let me get your
Say
mic.
that number one more time.
804-402-2893 is the number to dial to be down with us on the flagship show of LegacyInternetRadio.com. That better?
Thank you.
No
you know we got to get a pen. And all that
no doubt.
stuff.
Yeah, we gotta say it
Spit
like
out
you gotta
and
say it a couple.
stuff.
You gotta say it a couple of times. All right. I want to finish up this discussion on the things that's going on in Ferguson. we getting another call, so let me get the callers in. We definitely want to make sure that the folks that are listening to us that we show them their props. So we will absolutely stop our agenda to get the callers in. So caller, you on the live line? Tell us your name, where you calling from, and what you want to get in on.
Hey, how you doing? It's Zeke Randall. I'm calling from VA by way of Jersey. You know.
You said, "What's up, brother?" You know,
what's going on, man?
when we hear VA in Jersey, you know that perks up my ears right there. What's up, Zeke?
Oh yeah.
What you want to get in on? What you want to get in on, bro?
Just want to call on this mic on this Ferguson thing. Like, I'm having debates with people on Facebook, and it's horrible. But I'm a black man and I'm a cop, so I look at things from a different perspective as maybe somebody that's not in law enforcement. I'm not quick to pass judgment. I can't say that the cop wasn't right in his shooting just yet because I don't know all the facts. I don't base things off of emotion. But what I can do, just from my training and my experience, I can try to enlighten some people on just a couple of things.
Okay.
A lot of people are in an uproar about the body being laid out for so long. That's normal for body. During the crime investigation, first you got to wait for homicide to come. You got to wait for the crime scene to get clear. That's normal for a body to sit out for hours before anybody comes to take them away.
Well, let me as you talking, if you don't mind, I'm gonna stop you and kind of jump in and out because
no problem.
Because that piece right there, I guess as a civilian and a layman to this, is something about that doesn't seem right. When laying out there for that long, uncovered, no dignity, something about that just doesn't seem right. And then the other thing is, I understand waiting for all the information. That sounds reasonable. But what really kind of gives me pause, when Dirk a minute ago, I asked him what his thoughts were on this young man being shot in the crown of his head. What kind of physical posture do you think that he's in when this happens? And Dirk and I agree that he's probably on the ground or kneeling. And when there's no gunpowder on his body, it's likely that this is at a distance. So as an officer, help us as civilians understand how that works out.
Well, from the information that I've gotten so far, in that aspect, because first, when it first came out, they were saying he shot him in the back. If he shot him in the back, he was dead wrong. We found out from an autopsy from the family that that's not the case. So he was shot. A lot of people say that 6 is excessive. We're trained as police officers to stop the threat. You shoot to stop the threat. We don't shoot to kill. We shoot to stop the threat. The autopsy says the first 4 shots probably went into his arm. At some point, there are several different stories about what occurred. But one person, and the cop is saying there's another video out now that another witness is saying that he was running towards the officer. So if I'm backed away, they're saying like maybe 15 yards. If I'm backed away and I'm shooting, and he starts to fall because he's taking hits, one of them shots could go into his head because he's falling forward, not simply because I'm standing over him.
Okay.
Not saying that it could be that way too.
Okay. Well, let me.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad that you called, Zeke, because I was talking to the crew earlier, and I said that I wish that somebody white would call, and I wish that someone that's in law enforcement would call. And so we got half. We got half of it right now. But I don't know if you were listening earlier on. Shout out to our sister Michelle K. Robinson, who's listening. She's telling the crew what's up.
Hey, Michelle.
Here's my problem. You're a black man, you're in law enforcement. In the interest of full disclosure, I know you know me. We've talked about this before in social media.
Right.
how do we as black men rationalize the 20 names and 22 people, 2 names I couldn't remember, but I called out 20 names of black men unarmed that were shot and killed by police since 1999, when we know that goofy freak shot up a movie theater, you know, and walked out in Colorado. And there's numerous, you know, situations where white folk go home, where we don't go home. So how are we supposed to rationalize that as citizens?
It's hard to rationalize it, but I get flack for this all the time, and from my friends I get, so you blue. I'm not black no more than them. I'm blue, because like I said, I don't take everything on emotion from face value. Dude in Colorado walking out, he was in full body armor. They took shots at him.
Yeah, but the point is, but when they got to him, they got to him. That's the point, and they didn't take shots at him either.
Because too many people was around. Here's the thing. This is flat out. The world we live in for us ain't fair. It ain't.
Yeah.
And that's again, I go into the whole thing. People, we got to speak to police. Even now, as an officer, when I'm pulled over, I put my hands on the steering wheel. I turn my car off. I sit there. I wait till they come. I turn my radio down. When they come on and talk to me, how you doing, officer? So we'll let you know I'm armed. I got my service weapon with me. I put that out there quick, because I know how quickly things can turn bad. Should it have to be that way? Nope. But it is. And certain things in this world, we just not going to be able to change.
Yeah.
And that's one of them.
Okay.
Also, on the flip side, to get back to what you were saying, on the flip side of that, there are a lot of officers, a lot of that where white guys are getting killed too. There's not just happening to black people. The media puts a spin on it because they know they can get. We got certain people that is going to get on TV, is going to act out. We're going to react in a certain way where there's going to be loot and there's going to be other violence. It's going to bring ratings. So they don't put out all the information about the white people that are getting killed. And that's not to say that there aren't just bad racist cops. There are.
Let me stop you there for a Z.
Black and white.
Let me stop you there, Z, because my man Dirk in the room has a comment. Jump in, Dirk.
Yeah, all I was gonna say was, what'd you say about the blue haired boy? About why do you think they didn't shoot?
The who? You said the blue
Colorado shooter.
Oh, I didn't say they didn't shoot.
Oh no! Why the officers who responded did not shoot him?
Yeah, because
I thought you said something about that.
Yeah, because they were able to.
I said they took shots.
Oh, they took shots.
But he had body armor, and then it was a lot of people around.
My question about that, though, is if they were able to get to him with body armor, why weren't they shooting at him like they would have been shooting at you and Dirk and Big Rube and me?
Well, the body armor, I'm going to just chime in here because the body armor thing and a lot of people around really don't matter to them because they just killed some Hispanics and a hostage out in California that just robbed a bank. And they were videoing it, and they lit that car up on video with plenty of witnesses. So the body armor thing and a lot of people around, I just don't buy that one.
Yeah.
No, it's all about where you are, and it is who you are. We don't live in a fair world. I acknowledge that.
Right.
We don't live in a fair world.
Right.
For us, and we help the problem, because my thing is, like, be mad at this. There's something to be mad at,
right.
But you also need to be mad that Junebug killed Ray Ray. You quick to point out as a police officer, the cops did this wrong, and they should be justice. Why you wearing your Stop Snitching shirt? Because you don't want to tell on the people in the neighborhood.
No, I definitely agree.
You can't have it both ways.
You're not gonna get no argument from me on that one, because we talk about that at length here. You know, has Steppin with Marcus J. Last question I want to ask you, kind of as an officer, to kind of piggyback off of something that you said a minute ago. I want to get your comment, then I got to let you go. But you mentioned how the media will make it seem like it's more of the black men or black people being shot by police versus people of other demographics. I vehemently disagree with that, and I think that if we took the time to look up the numbers per capita, we'll find that that's just not right, especially when you look at how drug offenses and other type of offenses land us in jail more often and for longer sentences than it does our white counterparts. So to that, as an officer, you say what?
Well, for the drug offense and us being in jail, that's true.
Okay.
But I'll hit you. I can give you stats, and I'll get with you on that to give you stats on these the other situation where other ethnic groups being killed by police officers. It's not racial, so it's not a big deal on television because that's not going to cause ratings.
Right.
If it was a black cop that killed a white person, they'll put that on TV.
Gotcha. Well, that's fair, and I'll take you at your word because you and I have debated similar discussions in the past. So I take you at your word that it's out there and it's something that can be researched. I gotta let you go, so I gotta get to the rest of the agenda here tonight. But I appreciate you. I saw the note that you put out, so I expected your call. I appreciate you listening. You're welcome to listen and call us anytime that you want to, my brother, and that's my word.
I appreciate you, man, and it was a blessing meeting you. Through the outlets that I did, I always, value everything, the things that you say, the things you post, man. I appreciate what you're doing out there.
You got it.
And happy anniversary to me, right?
Oh, happy anniversary!
Oh.
I'm sorry.
It's her 1 year anniversary here on the show, and she's very excited, and she's picking on people about it. So you just happen to be the one she got. Zeke, man, appreciate it, brother. Talk to you soon, man.
All right, man, later.
All right. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. All right, he brought up some interesting perspective. And as I had mentioned earlier, I was looking forward to having a police officer or a white person call us up. Bless, I want to get you in on my next, the next direction that I want to go into. There was a person on Fox News, and I know when we say Fox News, we all kind of roll our eyes and, oh, Lord, it's Fox News. Why are we even paying any attention to Fox News? I get that. But the reason why I want to bring this up is because Fox News is an outlet that has the ear of many of our white brothers and sisters and counterparts across this country, and even some of our black people, are watching Fox. And so when you get someone on that news station, I'm getting this from rawstory.com, Juliet Huddy, she asserted that Ferguson Police Department was right to release the video of the robbery because it convinced protesters that the officer was justified when he killed Michael Brown. What her point is that you can see in this video, and I'm not sure if it's been substantiated that is in fact Mike Brown. If it is, let's assume that it is him in this video, where you can see him basically snatching a carton of cigarettes or cigars or whatever it is, and when they try to stop him, he basically old school mushed the guy, bully style, basically, and walked out. There are some that are suggesting, just like this Juliet Huddy of Fox News, that act right there by Mike Brown is justification for the end result of his interaction with Officer Darren Wilson. To that, you say what?
I say, number one, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. No one arrested him. No one had taken him to the side and said, are you the person that robbed this store? No one knew about this store. I'm pretty sure that officer didn't know about him robbing that store when he went to go and tell them, get out the street, and backed up and proceeded to assault him pretty much because he was trying to get out of the car and the door hit him is what the girls were saying that they saw, or what witnesses are saying they saw. It's amazing the dialogue that is brought up between the races regarding this. A lot of black people are seeing how white people really feel. I mean, their true colors are coming out. I mean, the whole debate about how can we be upset if we're killing each other comes out. The whole debate about white cops and black people, it's just a lot of people are seeing a lot of white people's true colors about how they feel about law enforcement and black people. What I was going to say, not saying that all cops are bad, but if you take police history, from the beginning, most police agencies were corrupt. And not, like I said, not all of them were, but there's been a lot, even in New York in the 80s was when they took out all of the corrupt cops, so it wasn't that long ago. Right. And I'm pretty sure it's still going on now. It's just the fact that this has been videotaped, right, and that people have access to the videotape to see what has happened. A lot of this would have, if he was not in the middle of the street, it probably would have been swept under the rug and we would not know who he is.
The officer, Zeke, who was talking to us just a minute ago, is agreeing that the video that we saw is no justification for that shooting. The officer didn't know anything about that. Tony, jump in here. What's your thoughts?
I mean, even you said, we're assuming that it was Mike Brown on that video. This is not the Wild West where you just roll up on people, and even if he said, yeah, I robbed the store, you don't just get to shoot them or attack them. I mean, that's not, I would like to think that, we become more civilized as a people, as a society, but clearly not. But I agree with Randy. It doesn't, again, even if he said, yeah, I did it, we have due process.
Right.
And that's the whole reason for the law.
There was also one of those pretty actors with the gray eyes. He's mixed.
Me?
He was on he was on one of the news shows, and he was talking about how he grew up in the suburban white neighborhood, and plenty of times those suburban white kids are robbing stores and get talked to by the police officers. Now, do they get the same treatment that Mike Brown got? No. They get let go. They get to go talk to their parents. The police go talk to their parents and say, don't do that again. But this man was walking down the street with his friend and gets killed minutes later.
Ain't no how to step on Marcus J. Another angle. Well, actually, before I take that other angle, here's something else that I wanted. It's kind of along these same lines. Listen, I want you to jump in on this one. First of all, you got the Klan showing up to guard white businesses because they are backing the shooting of a, quote, N-word criminal. And you have I'm getting this next one from Time Magazine, where you've got supporters who are raising money for the officer. Now, I got to hold that thought because we're getting another caller, but you're up. I want to get your opinion on this one. But we do have a call and a live line caller. What's your name? What you calling on? What you want to get in on?
Hey, man, this is June Boone from Norfolk, Virginia. First of all, I'd like to say I really enjoy the show. I'm an avid listener, and I'm glad to be on the radio with you guys. But my biggest thing concerned about this whole situation with Ferguson is that most police cars have a camera in it. So if they can put out the tape of the young man stealing something from the store, why is there no tape or anything from the police car that's being showed also?
Right. That's crazy.
And it's very concerning. It just kills me how you can portray all this, but if you want the truth to come out, why ain't all sides of the truth being shown?
I got a question for you, June.
So that's.
I got a question for you because it alludes to what you're saying. How do you feel about those police officers? And you talk about cameras. How you feel about those police officers who are running up on journalists and other people, snatching cameras away from them and telling them, "Don't film this"?
And that's crazy because that's taken away from our amendments. Because I feel even when I'm watching CNN today, you saw one of the CNN announcers being pushed by an officer, telling him, "Move, get out of the way, no, get out of the way, move." And that's crazy. We have the right to protest. We have the right to walk around and also videotape and show the truth. I mean, if the truth is not being shown by the people, then what other truth there is? Why is my truth not good enough for you, or why do I have to be pushed aside? Or you're supposed to be the authority protecting me?
Right. Well,
that's unbelievable.
I think what's odd, June, is if you look at these police cars, I haven't seen one that said protect and serve in a long time. If you pay attention to they don't say protect and serve anymore. They actually, have removed that off of the police cars, which I think is somewhat curious why they would do that. Appreciate your call, brother. Tell the fam I said what's up. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. You take care, and like I said, I'm enjoying the show, man.
You got it, man. Keep listening. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J. Dirk. You were getting ready to say something, but I had a question on the floor for Lisa P. So hold that thought. We were talking about the supporters for the officer, Darren Wilson, who have raised, in 19 hours, they raised $10,000 to support him and his family, the police officer. And so jump in. What's your thoughts when you hear that?
Before we get to that, let me just bring this out. This was breaking news on CNN before I came in here. The family of Michael Brown, as some of you may or may not know, first of all, their attorney is Benjamin Crump, who was the attorney for Trayvon Martin's family. And they have hired the top forensic pathologist, Michael Baden, to actually do a family autopsy on Mike Brown. So that autopsy actually came out today, and it stated that the family autopsy found that Brown was shot at least 6 times, including Yeah, it was a shitty thing. 2 shots in his head. 3 of the bullets may have re-entered his body, causing additional damage, Baden said. 1 wound to his arm was consistent with the witness statement that Brown was walking away and appeared to jerk as if he was shot, Parcells said. The wounds to his arm could have also occurred while he had his hands up, possibly in a defensive posture, Parcells said as well. 1 of the bullets entered the back of his head and came out through his eye. Another, likely the fatal wound, Baden said, was the one that struck Brown at the top of his head that caused irreparable damage to his brain. Brown also had abrasions to his face that was consistent to him falling onto the ground. He cautioned that, Baden, the medical examiner, stated that he cautioned that he needs access to the autopsy results, including tests of Brown's clothes and the x-rays before making some of his additional conclusions. So, from what they had from that, and also Attorney Crump stated, what more do you need? Basically, right now, the Mr. Baden is almost in favor of the Brown family, stating that it was too much, too excessive.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, six shots from an officer on an unarmed person. Man, I know that they're trained to shoot until the threat is no longer a threat. But Bless is saying that these are supposed to be center masked body shots, and obviously, in this particular case, that's not what's happening. Ain't no hashtag on Marcus J. 804-402-2893.
excuse me, correction, Michael Baden. My apologies.
Ain't no hashtag on Marcus J. I Mike Bart. We getting another call. So we'll take another minute to get this call in. We got a call on the live line. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, brother? Marcus J. This is Dave L.A.
What's going on, Dave? How you doing, man?
What's going on, fam?
Thanks.
Good.
Thanks for calling. What you want to get in on?
Hey, man, I don't know if you were still talking about the Michael Brown situation.
We are.
I heard the one brother that called. That's a police officer, and I'm a former police officer. Been with the LAPD for over 20 years.
Okay.
So let me just say some of the things that, like the one brother said, no, he wasn't there. No, I wasn't there. Right. But from my own experience and everything that I dealt with as a police officer, all the circumstances that I dealt with. One, here's the problem. The officer used bad tactics in this whole thing, and then those bad tactics may have led up to him having to use deadly force. Now, what has to happen here is that you want to use only the force necessary to take someone into custody. Okay? To arrest someone or to effect an arrest on someone. Here's the problem I had. Okay, the story was that Michael Brown came over to the car, kicked the door shut on him, and everything else. He didn't, he didn't have time, and then they get into a fight in the car, right? That very well could happen. And then there was a shot that's fired. The problem that I have is this. Once Mike Brown gets out of the car, right? Now what should happen is that officer needs to reposition himself into a position of advantage. He's by himself, right? Since he's by himself, he has to be very tactful in this whole thing. Why would he try to chase him? It doesn't make sense. Not saying that it didn't happen, that Mike Brown would now rush him. One, okay, where were you with the car? Two, if you're going to get in a shooting, that's fine too, but that's at a last resort. If he's unarmed, you can't just blast him because he doesn't have a weapon.
Right.
The most important thing that you want to control as a police officer is their hands. Obviously, he saw his hands. He just shot him in the car. But let me tell you what they won't tell you, is that this officer may have snapped. Okay? And when he snapped, Mike may have, let's say he punched him in the face, right? He got a good one in. So now all of a sudden, oh shoot, Now it's a fight. And so I think the emotions of this guy is where it turns him into rage. And so everything that I'm looking at, it doesn't add up.
Let me stop you and ask you a question.
How does the shot on the top of his head come about?
Yeah, let me stop you and ask you a question, Dave, because we know you're on the West Coast and you're a former LAPD officer, and we had Zeke on earlier, who is a current police officer here on the East Coast. So obviously different jurisdictions, different areas, and that sort of thing. But we talking about two black men who have worn blue, and so I'm curious to know your opinion on something that we talked with Zeke about. When I started the show and I started the segment, I read the names of 20 black men who were murdered by police officers. I use that word murdered. I took some heat for not saying killed before. To me, it's semantics. You were murdered. You didn't have a gun. You got killed by somebody with a gun. That's murder to me. 20 since 1999. And I suggested that this only happens to black men and not other demographics, and the other officer suggested that may not necessarily be accurate, that there were statistics that would show that the number across demographics is a lot more even than you would think. It's just the media will not share that with you because and these are not his words, kind of me paraphrasing what I'm hearing from him, that, cops killing black folk and white folks killing black folk makes good news. Good ratings. To that you say what?
You have factions within the police department where you have good people and bad people. Some people, I know there's a lot of brothers and sisters that would only use deadly force as a last resort. Some people will look for the first opportunity to use it. And there is a different policing style in our community than, let's say, the affluent rich side. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you what most police officers won't tell you and won't admit to, is that when you police in the affluent side, your own police department or your captain or your supervisors will say, hey, well, we're not on the poor side of town. These people over here, they know their rights, they're attorneys, they're doctors, so govern yourselves accordingly. So that's one thing that Zeke didn't say, but it's very true everywhere.
Right.
Because what will happen in the police department is that they know the law, so they know how to contort it to their agenda.
Right. I understand.
So that's the real truth of it all.
Okay.
Because I couldn't stand it, I still don't like. There's a disparity of treatment that, as far as policing, and let me tell you whose fault it is. Okay. It's our fault. It's our community. It's my fault. It's your fault. It's all of our fault because we allow this to go on in our community and we really don't do anything about it. They get away with what we put up with.
Right. Now, that's true. I think you will get no argument from me on that one. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. Dave, I got to let you go because I got one more question for the crew, and then we're going to wrap up the segment and move on. But keep listening because my co-host is celebrating her 1-year anniversary tonight. And after we finish all this serious stuff, we about to have some fun in here because I can tell by the faces they ready to have some fun. So I appreciate your support.
Happy anniversary.
You can say happy anniversary. I appreciate your support,
Thank
you guys,
you.
my brother. And as always, we're going to talk soon, man.
For sure, bro.
You got it. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus. Hey, Dave, one more quick thing. Okay, I lost him. I lost him. All right.
Can I say,
sure,
I just went to St. Louis this summer, and I can tell you that there are some really bad parts. Now, I didn't go to Ferguson. I can't speak for Ferguson, but the part that I stayed in most of the time is a really rundown area of St. Louis where you see the black people on the corner. You see them hanging out all day long, sometimes into the night, especially where I was staying. But then you go to the other side of St. Louis where it's upkept and it's the University Park and it's where the white people stay. Where did I see the police cars?
You saw them in the hood where the
Exactly,
where
where you think that where you expect to see them. So if you're in the hood all the time, your nerves are going to be on high,
right?
Period, as a police officer. So I understand where he's coming from, where the man may have snapped.
Right. Well, what I could tell you to that, Bless, because of where I grew up in Jersey City, And because of what I see, even right here in Richmond, in areas like Churchill and some of the courts here in town, you know, black folk just don't want to be in the house. Where we at, that's just real talk, man. We gonna be outside. I remember growing up in Jersey City, you know, being upset when I was a kid because I couldn't hang out because all my friends was hanging out. You know what I mean? And Mom's J and Pop's J wasn't going for it. And I understand why, because, you know, I heard someone say one time that nothing good happens between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. or whatever, you know, the analogy is. And so, you know, I understand why they ain't got no business out there. And if I was a police captain, I probably, as the person who is trying to make sure that it stays safe, would probably send my officers to the areas where the people. Why you gonna send the officers to the areas where ain't nobody at? You know what I mean? So I get it. I'm with you, and I'm with Dave. Last thing I want to get to, and I want everybody to jump in on this one. Solutions. How are we gonna fix this? What the hell are we gonna do? Because, you know, I don't think. Well, I'll say my opinion for last on this one. Bless, you got the mic. You jump in first.
Well, I don't see that there's going to be an easy solution. This brings it to the forefront more for this generation, because a lot of this generation doesn't know the slavery, the civil rights. They don't know that. They just know it from what they read in those skewed history books. They don't even talk that much about it. It's a shame that we as black people have to explain to our kids what they should and should not do when they encounter police officers, and white people are never going to understand that. The white people that have mixed kids are never going to understand that fear until they lose that mixed child. So I can't see, unless we can get ourselves together and get our minds right, that we are all human beings, number one, first and foremost, no matter what color God painted us.
Right.
I can't see that it's going to get any better.
Listen, P.
We're getting to a point of irritation. I mean, yes, we were irritated before. Yes, maybe we're a little bit more irritated now. But I really feel like that, unfortunately, it may take a few more Mike Browns. It's sad to say, but us as a solution need to be a community that we claim to be when things happen like this. So when tragedy does not strike, then the thing is, what are we doing when we're all at peace, when nothing is going on? Are we holding peace rallies then before the crime actually happens? So really, the solution is, again, once the Mike Brown blows over and where it's a little bit, you know, calm and relaxed, will it ever be? No. But that's when we need to start rallying around and going to the council meetings, to going to your child's PTA meetings to know what's going on in the community, in the schools. Also, I feel like by us having the history that we have so long ago, it'll continue to follow us until everybody is gone. So will it ever change? Like Bless said, can we make it better? Yeah. But will it start with us making ourselves better? Yeah, you definitely can change yourself. So just go from there.
And you know, Steppin with Marcus J. Dirk, what's your thoughts? Solutions. What are we doing here?
Solution to the whole, to everything?
It's us.
Oh, well.
Us. As far as us. And I guess I should have prefaced it and by, you know, what I meant by that. But what I'm saying is solutions, because, you know, we can't worry about what our neighbor is doing when our house is a mess. And so that's kind of what my thought process is on solutions for everybody who hasn't spoken yet. What's your thoughts?
It would start with stop pulling each other down, and build ourselves economically as a group, as a people. You have to get economic wealth to get power and togetherness, and stop hating on each other. I mean, we are worst enemy when it comes down to. I mean, when it boils down to it. I know why not just cops, why a lot of other races are scared of us is because, you know, as a group, we might be unpredictable. You have some Uncle Tom ninjas, and then you have some real ninjas, and then you have those in between.
Are they good at karate, these ninjas that you're referring to?
And they
good at shooting.
Do they wear masks and they throw stars? My brother. That's why. What you got?
You know, we had a caller earlier that said we need to be a little bit
My brother.
more proactive than reactive, and that's true. So we need to start learning how to do that first. Then we can start doing other things to just be aware, learn how to help ourselves out in certain situations so they don't get to be as far as they are right now.
Right.
I don't think it's ever going to go away.
Right.
I really don't think it's ever going to go away. It's just us as a people working like other groups,
Right.
getting ourselves together and fighting for ourselves.
I
If
get-
we don't ever do that, instead of just tackling each other, we're going to just continue to be where we are at this stage.
Forever. And you know, hashtag with Marcus J. Tony.
Dirk made the comment that power is in wealth, but power is also in numbers. One of the hosts of a syndicated radio show just kind of threw out some numbers of the demographics in Ferguson, and out of the 15,000 brown folks, only 1,500 of them vote in the midterm elections, which is huge. And I think that we have to remember and realize that we do have, we can have power, but we do, of course, have to come together to be able to be an influential people and to make a difference. So, I think that it's important that we realize that there's a whole lot of us, and we can really make a difference.
And you know how Steppin with Marcus J. Big Rube, you haven't said much on the subject, but I want to get you to jump in and tell me what your thoughts are on solutions. Where do we go from here, my brother?
Until we decide that we want to be better, we will continue to go nowhere. I mean, it's that simple. There are parents out here who work hard so their kids can have a better life than they have. And then, some of us turn it and decide not to just to live the same paradox that their parents lived in. It's funny, years ago when we talked about the whole Obama re-election, their numbers in the South basically, stating that we do good for ourselves. And what a lot of people continue to not realize is black people are not the majority on welfare, So to me, it's interesting that we don't work harder for a better future for ourselves. And if not for ourselves, why not for your children? Why not for your children's children? And until we decide that we want to be better, we will never, as a whole, be better. Because, I grew up in the suburbs. My parents sacrificed themselves to make a better life for me. So I can go out and, and try to do the same for children if I decide to have children, that sort of thing. And I mean, I know you, Marcus, you and your wife do the same thing for Mama J. So she can have a better life than you had. And until we as a people decide that we want to be better, we will never be better. Or at least all of us will never be better. And unfortunately, those who choose not to be better will continue to have unfortunate headlines such as these.
Hashtag on Marcus J. We're getting a hit from Jackie, who called us up earlier on. She mentioned earlier, I didn't get this comment in, Dirk, she agrees, she actually said before you said it, that we need to empower ourselves. And Malcolm X tried to show us the way. Listen, P, you were going to say something?
My only thing to what a lot of us say, and I know myself as well, but if we all can be honest with ourselves in the room right now, when we say that we have to teach these kids like what our ancestors did for us and how they struggle for us, really, as much as we preach that, are we doing every day what we can to realize that and recognize that? So when we're out here downing our sisters or downing our brothers, do we actually say, God, I don't need to do this because our ancestors died for us? So again, before you try to push it on the kids, make sure that you good, like Ruben said, like everybody has said, make sure you got you together, that I have me together, that we have each other together, because seriously, you can't keep preaching it if you're not doing it yourself.
And has Steppin with Marcus J. We're getting another caller that's calling us up right now. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Mark? I'm sorry to call back, man, but I'm hearing this solution thing, and I gotta say this, man. This is so critical. This is Dave from L.A.
Okay, what you got?
There is no political or economic solution to spiritual abandonment. In order for you to change a problem, you can't use the same consciousness that created the problem. You got to think anew. That's what Albert Einstein said. until we think anew and address everything anew as people, we're going to have these problems. We can solve them, but we just have to think anew, and that's the coming on. That's all I want to express, bro. So critical.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for calling back. You always welcome anytime. Ain't no half stepping on Marcus J. I'll just close out. I'll close out the segment with this. One point that I really wanted to kind of get into here earlier, and we didn't really get into it because we didn't have time, and that's good. We had a lot of activity in the room as well as on the phones, and I will encourage that over the notes that I wrote every single day of the week. But when we were talking about solutions, one of the things that everybody either said or alluded to was empowerment and economics. And Dave took it in a different direction, and I agree with where he was going, because he was saying that if spiritually you jacked up, it don't matter what your money says. And that makes sense as well. But where I'm going with that is, if you look at 19 hours it took for them white folk to raise $10,000 for the guy that shot a black boy to death in the street. And when you got a brother like Warren Ballantyne, who, you know, I've only talked to him once or twice. I consider him a mentor of mine, even though he doesn't know that. But I'll call him out and say this. You know, he's got situations going on with him where he has asked his listeners to assist him, and he got to come on the radio every single day of the week and beg people to send $5. Send me $5 to help me get through what I'm going through. And even before that, send $5 to this fund that I'm going to help administer and disperse to y'all. You know what I mean? Send $5 so that we can collect some money, so that we can give that money to somebody to open a business. If that person opens a business, we're hoping that they give a few dollars to some more people that they can go and open businesses. You got these white folk that raised $10,000 for the dude that shot a black boy dead in the street unarmed. You got these white folk that raised this money to George Zimmerman for his defense, which in part is the reason why he was acquitted. And we can't come up with $5 to help our own, who come on the freaking radio every single day and try to empower you. In large part is the reason why people like Marcus J will come on the radio and speak the way I speak. So sometimes I get discouraged. Sometimes I'm like, yo, why even waste the freaking time when we don't want shit anyway? We can sit here and we can talk about solutions, and like Lisa said, we can talk about talking to the kids and all. That's bullshit, man, for real. We come in here and talk that crap all we want, but if we ain't trying to come together for real, then what's the difference? What's the point? Why even do it? Why even do it? Because if all you're gonna do is take your little punk ass money and go build your house in your neighborhood and your cars and all that shit, then why even bother? Don't even post on Facebook. Don't even call in Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J and Warren Ballantyne's show with Michael Bays and all these. Don't even freaking waste your time. It's bullshit. I'm done. Ain't No Half Step Marcus J. We taking a break. We come back. We gonna have some fun. SY's anniversary. I'ma cool down. They gonna get me riled down since I'm riled up.
Can I say something before you go? Before you click off with the look, so we can get to the fun. But let me just say, to anger us into the break, don't forget, George Zimmerman, I think his highest selling painting, which he took up after all of this, was the one of the painting that he did of Trayvon Martin and his father. So let's put that out there too. Thank you very much.
Before you do that, and then as soon as I'm done, you can hit it.
Go for it.
I want everybody who's listening to pay attention to the website. Pay attention to legacyinternetradio.com. On our Facebook page. Watch out, because if you see me post it and you're the first person to call me, you get something.
She giving away a gift. We putting up something on our fan pages on Facebook. Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J fan page, as well as the Legacy Internet Radio fan page on Facebook. First person to call in and say what you saw. That's why I was giving something away.
One more thing
Go
for
for it,
everyone that has called in tonight. I think this is the most phone calls I've heard
Yeah.
on the radio. Can y'all send in $5, please, and help to the Warren Balancing? Because I have seen what you have posted regarding trying to get money up to empower black people. Send $5 in so Marcus J can calm down, please.
I ain't gonna never calm down. I ain't gonna never calm down because I have come out of my pocket to help this brother, and I always will. I will continue to do it. I'm going to continue to do it, but I get discouraged.
You have to change the mindset of people. My whole point in life right now is to pay my bills, make sure my bills are paid.
But you know what about that? And that makes sense, and that's fair. That's fair. But the truth of the matter is, there's people that's going to spend money on nonsense. It's people that's going to spend money on beer and weed and liquor and hair and nails.
You're trying to get the wrong people.
And all. I got you. I understand that. But then there's going to be people who got money that's wearing ripped jeans that could do it as well. You know what I mean? And so, and then there was some people who was talking about how with this whole thing going on with Ferguson, you ain't heard from LeBron, and you ain't heard from Jay-Z, and you ain't heard from Oprah, and you ain't heard from, what?
Those people don't care.
I ain't even tripping off of them. I ain't tripping off of them because they already done told us who they are. You know what I mean? And so I'm going on record as saying that I don't expect nothing from them, even though I think that they should, and I'm sure that they do behind the scenes. But I think that when the neighborhoods and the community and the hood hold you down, you got a responsibility to hold them down publicly, not just behind the scenes, not just building a gym and saying, yo, just do this anonymously. You're doing it anonymous because you know that the man gonna see your name on it and it could cause you problems in the future. That's why you want it anonymous. That's why you don't want nobody to know you're doing it. And then part of me understands that. But you know what? You come from Arlington and Claremont and Jersey City. You come from Churchill and Richmond, Virginia. You come from Colley Park in Atlanta. You know what I mean? So, and you come from the south side of Chicago. You come from these neighborhoods. And you cannot just be the one that's on TV, and I'm using old 90s term, flossing and throwing up the dollars in everybody's face, and you ain't doing shit. That to me is not acceptable. Ain't no half step of Marcus J. We're going to go ahead and take that break for real. When we come back, I promise I'm going to be calmed down. Marcus J. and the entire crew celebrate SY's 1 year anniversary on Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J. live from the Den of Legacy, internetradio.com. Thank you to everybody listening on TuneIn and everybody listening to the replays on YouTube. Be back in a few minutes.